Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of NCAA Division III week. This week, we are celebrating NCAA Division III athletes and the ability to observe and celebrate the impact that these athletics and these student athletes have on campus and the surrounding community. Today, we're taking a look at some of the individual athletic experiences here at Salem, and we're focusing on one of our core values of the athletic department mission statement, which is to, quote, enhance the participation and competitive environment of intercollegiate athletics. Our guest today is probably one of the most competitive students I know. I witnessed her playing firsthand during my 4 years at Salem, and it's Valeria Rosa Lopez. So anybody that saw Val play could definitely feed off her energy as a player. She was a very energetic, rah-rah player, and I think probably her most, impressive thing was her emphatic celebrations after her points. So Salem fans, they got a chance to see you play, Val. You became the program leader in the single season kills and the third player in program history to reach 1,000 kills and 1,000 digs. However, one of the things that they may not know is what you kind of went through behind the scenes as a volleyball player and as a student athlete while you were accomplishing those milestones. So first of all, thank you for joining us today, Val.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. So my first question to you saw kind of both spectrums of Salem. Let's go all the way back to your first year. And what kind of goals did you set going into the season after you came in as a high school player?
I think that honestly, the first thing that I wanted to do was play and just be an established player on whatever team that I was on, because during club, I feel like you play with a lot of different people and you play with a lot of different kinds of teams. And my last year before I came in here, I didn't have the best experience, so I just wanted to have a lot of fun, but still be able to play volleyball because that was the most important thing to me at the time. So just be an established person, I guess, at Salem.
All right. So another thing that you saw during your time here, and I'm sure it's kind of weird as you're looking back. You went through the COVID pandemic, and you saw the program go through a rebuild. So,
Bye.
So you went through the COVID pandemic. You also saw a difficult, season, brand new teammates. And you've experienced both the best turnaround in program history along the way. What was it like to go through that as a sophomore with a bad program team to that as a junior with one of the best programs, or one of the best teams we ever had?
Definitely not easy. I would say that it was definitely the most frustrated I've ever been while playing volleyball. I've never expected that kind of situation, and with switching coaches and moving around and recruiting and all that stuff, I understand it gets complicated, but I think that coming from a team where we had a lot of, we were friends and we would joke around and stuff, but we wouldn't win any games, and then moving on with 12 or 11, 13 new recruits and making connections and becoming friends with them and just having fun playing volleyball and having that skill and then winning a lot of games, it just made it that much more exciting, because in the end, the reason I play volleyball obviously is not to win every single game, because in every game somebody wins and somebody loses, but it's just to have fun playing volleyball. So I think that it was really hard because in the first year it wasn't fun, and then obviously winning is fun, but the friends and the connections that you have with your teammates is also super, super important. So it was interesting. It was hard, but I think that I learned a lot about myself and my patience and how do you interact with your teammates and how do you handle frustration with your teammates or frustration with the game or whatever. So I feel like it built my character, is what I would say.
Awesome. Well, it's a tough character builder, but you did it. Okay, we're sitting here modern day. 2024, you played your last match, unfortunately, for the rest of us. You've had a chance to kind of go through and digest not only a 23-win season, but a 21-win season this year before. So you got 1,000 kills and 1,000 digs this past year. Have you kind of taken a chance to reflect on what you did at Salem, and if so, kind of what's your impressions of everything that you did?
Yeah, I think that I worked really, really hard. That was one of the goals that I had coming into this season, is I wanted to, I knew I was going to pass 1,000 digs, because I started this season, it was like 985 or something like that. But coming in and not playing as an outside and playing as a DS for my first year, and then going through losing every game and then coming back with another team and just trying to pick up kind of, I was down. It was very unlikely that I was supposed to get to 1,000 anyway, because I was at like 600 or 700 something kills. But I feel like my time here has been really, again, like just building my character and making connections with people. And I've come to appreciate Salem more than when I first came here. Because when I first came here, it was a smaller school. I wanted to go to a big school. I wanted to travel and play volleyball. I wanted to go on airplanes and travel with my teammates and do all that. But came to Salem. It's a smaller school. It's a smaller community. I've never experienced that kind of situation, because even my high school had, I think it was like 700 something graduating in my class. So it was a lot of people. But coming in and then coming out, I feel like I've come to appreciate the community and the people around me and the connections that I make more, because I'll see, you know, my professor or whatever at my job every once in a while and say hi, and it's more of like a conversation versus like, oh, there's my professor that I never talked to, and we had this big seminar with 800 people. So I don't know, I love how small it is. I love the friendships I've made, and I've really like learned a lot more about myself instead of just academics and stuff like that, because obviously you're here to get a degree, but you know, yeah.
So one of the things that I was lucky, and I kind of got to talk to you about the progression of your career. You talked to me at one point about playing outdoors. You know, you played on a men's net. You made yourself better. So that's been really impressive to kind of watch you grow in that way. You endured something else kind of unique in your career. You say it best. I'll give it to you. You had cancer during the course of your career. So, what few people know about battling this as a young woman, but what you were going through, and like you actually went through radiation treatments the day of games and, you know, everything like that while you were playing. So can you kind of walk the fans through and the alumni through an idea of what that was like to learn what you learned about yourself and as a woman, you know, during your cancer radiation treatments?
Well, it was a big shock when I first found out. It actually started off as like, oh, I had this little lump after my wisdom teeth surgery, and then it just never went away. And I went and talked to doctors, and I had doctors that didn't believe me, and I had to go to other doctors. There's just a whole crazy story. Right. But it's like a super rare kind of cancer. I think it's 0.1% of all tumors are this kind of cancer. I mean, 90% of tumors are in this area are benign, 10% are malignant, and of those 10%, it's like 0.1% that is this cancer. And usually it's people like 65 plus that get it. So it was a big shock, and I came into the season I didn't let it get me down, so I knew I was going to have to fight even harder. I was unsure if I was going to do radiation at the beginning of the season. But I just knew that what I wanted to do was just have a good season and have fun playing volleyball, because again, like it's super important to me, and I love volleyball no matter what. But the hardest part about all of it wasn't, having to tell people or having to, go to radiation appointments. It's just kind of strange. You feel weird. You go into the cancer center and everybody around you is a lot older, and everybody's like, why are you here? And you're just like, I don't know. But things, everything doesn't have to happen for a reason. I think things just happen to people, and you just have to face it and play with the cards that you're dealt, I guess. Right. But it was really hard to go on the bus and then realize that I was taking naps more and more and more and more, and I would just get really tired, and my mouth was dry, and I had to drink 10 times more water. So it was really hard, I feel like, at times, but most of the time I felt like things were going to be okay, and no matter what, I still enjoyed every little thing that I did. So whether it got worse or got better, I'm still in remission technically. I have a CT scan, I think, in June. But I didn't let it get me down. I don't know. I just felt very at peace with it, and I knew that I was going to have to eat more and fight harder and take more naps and rest before games, and then play 10 times as hard, because any game could be the last game that I felt that much energy or whatever. And I feel like those effects kind of go on. a lot of people don't know this. So you have different amounts of radiation that you get and different number of treatments. And I had 33 treatments. So I had 6 weeks, and it was just going to cut off from the mid to the end of the season. I was just going to get more and more tired. And it stressed me out a lot, considering I had been like going to the gym and practicing and playing and doing everything I could to get a lot better. But I feel like keeping your head up and just fighting through it was, I know that sounds really cheesy, but like just staying positive and accepting that, you know, the things happen and you just got to deal with it. So
well, that's a good testimony for the, you know, for anybody that's about to go through that, or, you know, any young person that's going through that when you don't really know. So thank you very much for your time today. We greatly appreciate it. And thanks, Val. Good luck.